Hello and welcome back to our channel where we talk about all things relating to anxiety and our mental well-being. And in today's video, we're going to talk about what food helps with anxiety. Now, as an anxiety therapist and specialist, I have seen firsthand how our diet plays a pivotal role in managing both mine and my clients' anxiety. And while there's no magical food that will banish anxiety for good, certain foods can help ease the symptoms, whilst other foods can make things slightly worse. This is because what we eat affects our brain chemistry, our hormone levels, and our overall physical health. And all of these factors influence how we feel mentally. So, we know now the causes of anxiety and stress are complex, and we all respond differently to what stresses us out. Now, some people avoid eating due to their anxious symptoms, and this was me. I had no appetite at all at the height of my anxiety as a teenager, and even if I did force myself to eat, I struggled to keep anything down. I would frequently pass out, and it was only once I'd passed out that I was able to realise that maybe I hadn't eaten for up to 3-4 days. Now, clearly this concerned my family, and I was marched to the doctors on suspicion of having an eating disorder. And as you can imagine, this increased my anxiety further as my weight was being monitored. Now, other people have a completely different reaction to food and anxiety. Other people comfort eat with lots of sugary snacks when they feel anxious. And this is because they may feel like they have no energy when they're anxious. It's quite normal for us to feel like we have no energy, as our body has to work extremely hard to remain hypervigilant, which means on the lookout for danger. Our body is constantly preparing itself to run or fight from the danger. And if we're feeling anxious and nervous while sitting on our sofa, our bodies have no way of burning the extra energy that we're consuming. So we may have an urge to eat something sugary just before we have a panic attack because our body is trying to tell us that our blood sugar levels have fallen. This is why we need to eat little and often throughout the day when we feel anxious. We need to keep our blood sugar levels more constant. So, before we look at the foods that help with anxiety, I want to look at the foods that may trigger anxiety and nervousness, and then we know what best to avoid. But before I do that, I'd like to ask you to stick around to the end because I have something to offer you that I know will help you. Please go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel because that helps me reach more and more people and get the message out that nobody needs to be struggling with anxiety. Once we understand the root cause of our anxiety, we can put tools and techniques in place to manage it. So the number one culprit, the number one thing that impacts us is caffeine. Now, I love a good cup of coffee to start my day, but too much caffeine can also heighten anxiety. Unfortunately, caffeine is one of the worst substances for triggering our fight and flight response. Now, both myself and many of my clients do feel calmer and sleep better after reducing our caffeine consumption. Now, the reason is caffeine increases our cortisol levels and releases adrenaline, our primary stress hormones, causing us to feel alert and awake and produce the very same physiological response that is triggered when we are stressed and preparing us for our fight and flight. Now, caffeine stimulates our sympathetic nervous system, and this can lead to increased heart rate, sweating, and that jittery feeling as if we're on edge all the time. Caffeine further contributes to anxiety and stress by causing a depletion of vitamin B1, which is one of the anti-stress vitamins, and it increases the production of the feel-good chemical serotonin. So with caffeine dulling that down, we don't get the benefits of the good hormones. Caffeine also stays in our system for many hours, leading to restlessness and a lack of good quality sleep. And we know that a lack of sleep is also well known to trigger anxiety, and it creates a vicious cycle where poor sleep leads to increased anxiety, which leads to even worse sleep, which leads to even more anxiety, and so it goes on. So if you are feeling anxious, then I do suggest cutting back on the caffeine, especially after lunchtime. The second big culprit, alcohol. Now, I've actually written an entire article on the effects of alcohol and anxiety. You can pop over to the description and you'll find a link to that in there, because it's a big thing on a lot of people's minds. Many people turn to alcohol as a means to cope with their anxiety, but they might not realise that alcohol can actually exacerbate anxiety symptoms in the long run. Now, while a few beers and a glass of wine can initially act as a sedative due to the increase in the balance of the neurotransmitter GABA in the brain, it creates a feeling of relaxation. The effects soon wear off and it can lead to increased anxiety in the long run, unfortunately. Alcohol is also a diuretic, meaning that we need to go to the loo more frequently, which can lead to dehydration and trips in the middle of the night. Dehydration can cause similar symptoms to anxiety, such as dizziness, headaches, and irritability, which can all make us feel more anxious. Dehydration increases our symptoms, again, more anxious, more symptoms, more anxious, more symptoms. Now, the physical symptoms of a hangover can also mimic or exacerbate anxiety, not to mention waking up in the morning after the night before when we're trying to piece together exactly what happened at the office party. It's an anxiety disaster waiting to happen. We all know it's best to enjoy alcohol in moderation, but just be mindful of its potential impact on your mental health too. The next culprit, sugar and artificial sweeteners. Now, we know all about sugar, we know all about alcohol, we know all about caffeine, but we don't necessarily know about them in relation to anxiety. So try to limit sugary snacks, fizzy drinks if possible. But realistically, I know there's not a 100% way of avoiding sugar. Now, sugar is a contributor to overall anxiety as it causes our blood sugar to go on a roller coaster ride of spikes and crashes, and with it, our energy also goes up and down. When blood sugar crashes, our mood is impacted, leading to feelings of irritability, fatigue, mood swings, and yes, more anxiety. A sugar crash is similar to a caffeine crash and can also cause mood changes, heart palpitations, difficulty concentrating, and fatigue. It's not unlike the beginning stages of an anxiety or panic attack. Now, high sugar intake can also lead to inflammation in the body, which can negatively affect our brain function and neurotransmitter activity. And it's linked to various physical and mental health issues. Sugar, like caffeine and alcohol, can also be addictive, and frequent consumption can lead to a dependency. Now, withdrawing from sugar, caffeine, alcohol, it causes additional symptoms such as irritability and again, increased anxiety. Now, beware, because sugar is often hidden in many processed foods. Reading the labels can help, but to be fair, it's not always easy. Sugar can be listed under many, many different names, such as high fructose, corn syrup, sucrose, glucose, and there's many more. So it's not easy, but the bottom line is, while sugar might satisfy our sweet tooth and give us an energy rush, too much can have a profound impact on our mental and physical well-being. So it's best to avoid it where you can, and at least be mindful of how much sugar you are consuming. Processed foods. Again, we know about processed foods. They don't help us, they don't serve us in many, many ways, but one of them is with anxiety. Now, they're a staple in many diets due to their convenience and long shelf life. They are often high in unhealthy fats, in sugars, in salts, in additives, preservatives, and all of these things can contribute to increased anxiety. Now, processed foods are also typically low in essential nutrients like vitamins, especially the B vitamins like B6, B12. They're low in minerals like magnesium and zinc and fibre, and can cause inflammation again and impair the brain function, leading to increased anxiety. Another, I'm not going to say no, but another one to try and avoid is fried foods. They're high in unhealthy fats, and that again can lead to more inflammation and that negatively impacts the brain health. So you can see how we're stacking more and more things onto our brain health with the processed foods, the fried foods, the excess sugar, the caffeine. So let's look at the good news. What can help us? Now, before we go into foods that can help reduce anxiety, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. If you are feeling overwhelmed by the thought of what you have to change, then please do just pop over to the description and download my workbook called The Circle of Control and Influence, because that can help you in many, many situations if you're feeling overpowered, and it will help you on your journey from anxious to getting the results and the tools that you need. Now, while these workbooks are not able to eliminate anxiety completely, they do go a long way to aiding you on your journey. So let's look at some of the foods that help reduce anxiety. I find the number one is oats. Now, oats are a great way to start your day if you're feeling anxious. They release energy slowly, keeping your blood sugar levels stable, and you avoid those dreaded mid-morning slumps. Plus, they boost serotonin production, and that's the happy chemical that helps regulate our mood. So you can think of oats as your morning superhero. Now, I tend to soak mine overnight, so I soak them in some coconut water the night before. I throw in some chia seeds, some cacao nibs, and I add some fresh berries and yogurt too, and it's delicious. Try fatty fish too. Now, fatty fish such as salmon, mackerel, sardines, trout, herring, they're all high in omega-3. And omega-3 is a fatty acid that helps promote cognitive function and mental well-being. It also helps reduce inflammation. So eating fatty fish a couple of times a week can help you feel more balanced and a little less frazzled. Chia seeds also contain omega-3. So if you are vegan or vegetarian, you can still get your healthy omega-3s without eating the fish. And you can throw them in your smoothies, your overnight oats, your soups, whatever you want. Salmon and sardines are also among the few foods that contain vitamin D, along with egg yolks. One of my favourite things, spinach. It's packed with magnesium, which helps regulate cortisol levels, one of the stress hormones. Now, low levels of magnesium have been linked to anxiety, so adding spinach to your diet can be a great way to keep anxiety at bay. And again, you can throw them in smoothies, in soups, in stews, in whatever it is you're cooking, just throw in some spinach. One of my favourites, avocados. They're really rich in B vitamins, which are essential for healthy brain function and mood regulation. They also contain healthy fats that help support brain health. Blueberries. Now, don't let their size fool you. Blueberries are small, but they're pretty mighty. They're rich in antioxidants, which help repair and protect the brain cells. They keep your brain safe from stress. Now, sprinkle them on your oats, put them in a smoothie, or just enjoy them as they are as a snack. Dark chocolate. Yay! Thank goodness for that, hey? So, yes, dark chocolate can actually help reduce anxiety. It's rich in flavonoids, which can improve blood flow to the brain and boost cognitive function. Dark chocolate also contains lots of magnesium, a mineral known for its calming effects. Almonds and Brazil nuts are another boost for anxiety, helping us to overcome anxiety, because they're a great source of magnesium again and healthy fats. So they help stabilize blood sugar levels and keep us feeling full and focused. Now, Brazil nuts are high in selenium, which may improve mood by reducing inflammation again. Both Brazil nuts and almonds are also a good source of vitamin E, an antioxidant which is beneficial for treating anxiety. Other nuts, mushrooms, and even soybeans are all excellent sources of selenium. And if you're unable to eat nuts, then try more seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds as well, because they have a lot of advantages too. Chamomile tea. Now, when anxiety has us on edge, a cup of chamomile tea is incredibly soothing. It's been used for centuries as a natural remedy for anxiety and insomnia, and I think it's a bit like a warm hug in a mug. So there you have it. That's all the foods that help and hinder anxiety. However, this list wouldn't be complete if I didn't mention the importance of water and staying hydrated. Dehydration can cause mood changes and increase anxiety, so ensure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. Water is by far the best thing to drink. Try and carry a bottle around with you, as a dry throat tends to make us feel anxious. Many of us don't drink enough water to keep our body running efficiently, and I'm guilty of that too. Water is needed to transport all the hormones, the chemical messengers, and the nutrients to the vital organs of our body. We can be dehydrated without knowing it and can often interpret being thirsty as a sign of hunger. When we are dehydrated, our bodies can interpret this as a potential threat to our survival. That's how important hydration is. And this potential threat will trigger anxiety symptoms. So one of the best ways to overcome those symptoms is to drink water. Eat regularly, skip meals, and that will lead to drops in blood sugar, which can trigger anxiety. So try to eat regular, balanced meals throughout the day to keep your blood sugar level stable. Aim for a balanced diet that includes a variety of whole foods. Incorporate plenty of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, turkey's good as well, and healthy fats. Listen to your body. Really pay attention to how different foods make you feel. Everybody's body is different, so what works for one person might not work for another, and it might be helpful to keep a food diary to see how you're feeling based on what you're eating. Practice mindful eating. I talk a lot on my channel about mindfulness, but not a lot about mindful eating. This is where you take the time to enjoy your meals without distractions. So you're conscious of the food in your mouth and how it tastes, how it feels, the texture. And what that does, it lets your body give you the proper clues of when you're full, rather than often we eat, we continue eating past the point of being full. So whilst your diet can have a big impact on your anxiety, it's only a small piece of the puzzle. It is important to incorporate other healthy habits like exercise, sleep, stress management tools and techniques. Try and put all of these into your routine so you've got a holistic approach. Now, if you are struggling with anxiety, you're not alone and there is help available. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please like and subscribe and hit that notification button so that whenever a new video comes out, you are notified. And I'd love to hear some of your top tips in the comments of what foods you recommend or what foods you want to avoid when it comes to your own anxiety journey. So if you do need to speak to somebody about getting to the root cause of your anxiety, then there's a link in the comments below or in the description, and I'd be happy to talk to you, or one of my team will. And until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and thank you for watching. Bye for now.